Alrighty. Well, there's Rocky. Hello, Rocky. It's morning. Yes, Rocky says good morning. Yeah. Hello. Hi, Rocky. Hello. You're a good boy. You're a very good boy. Yeah. Yes, you are. Anyway, yeah, there he is. Isn't he beautiful? You're very beautiful, Rocky. I love my Rocky. I do. Yeah, I do. Because he's wonderful. Let's see what we have in the refrigerator. What do we have in the refrigerator, Rocky? Hey, and the refrigerating icebox of refrigeration. And our refrigerated icebox. Look, I got my donuts. I haven't eaten them yet, so I should, I suppose, because it's like donut eating time. Yes, it is. Okay, hold on here. I gotta grab some paper towels to wipe my hands when I'm eating my donuts. And you know what I have to do for you? I have to give you your treats. He's entitled to his treats after all. We'll put the paper towels there. I gotta wipe the donut stuff off my hands. Look at that, eh? Treats, treats. Holy smokes, Rocky. Well, I did some bidding last night on the online auction. And if I do say so for myself, I'm a pretty good bidder. I'm a strategic bidder. There's a way of bidding on an auction. It's like there's a way of doing different things. And I'm pretty good at it. See, there's 4 of them there. 4. Come on over here. Come on. Come on. There you go. Those are your treats. Look at them. Look at them. They're beautiful. Yeah. Anyway, I got the things that I wanted. The things that I need. Well, really, it's pretty much things that I need. I don't indulge my wants all that much anymore, except sometimes with food I do. Even then, if I get a good deal, I do. But anyway, I got a roll of barbed wire, which if I have to go back into the woods and camp, I can use that to help secure my camp, to kind of hold the logs together and also to discourage things from climbing up the wall that I'll build around my tent, because I'll build a wall out of deadfall. And the barbed wire will be good to discourage bears and things like that, hopefully, and raccoons and whatnot. So that's why I bought that. And it was pretty cheap. It was like $17 for a brand new roll of barbed wire. I don't know what it sells for retail, but I'm sure it sells for more than $17 these days. Anyway, I bought that. I bought a spare stove because my stove out there is acting up at times, and I'm afraid it may die on me. And I can't afford that to have that happen. So I bought a spare stove. What else did I buy? I bought a leaf blower, an electric leaf blower, which will help me in my work. So I bought that. I bought a what else did I buy? I bought 2. They're actually stainless steel milking pails that would normally you connect them to a milking machine. They're DeLavo milking pails. I paid like $22 a piece for them. And the reason I bought them is they don't corrode. They're stainless steel. And I'm thinking I can find some use for them if I have to camp in my truck. Even I can use those. If I have to, I can put those into a body of water. Tie a rope to the thing and put it in a body of water, seal it up. Those milking cans are designed to be sealed up. So I can seal it up then, and I can put food in there and submerge it in a lake or a river or whatever, and it'll keep. So that's why I bought those, and even if I don't use them for that, they're stainless steel, which means they'll be really easy to keep clean, and they won't rust. So there is that. And around here, everything rusts. So that's a big thing. Anyway, to have a couple of pails that big stainless steel containers like that don't rust. So that's why I bought those. Trying to think of what else I bought. I just can't remember now. But, oh, pardon me. Anyway, Rocky's going to go in his box and have a nap. Him is. Okay. So, yeah, I did that. What else did I buy? Isn't that awful? I have to think here for a minute. Oh, I also bought a DeWalt a set. It's a DeWalt cordless drill with the impact wrench, which I'll get a lot of use of out of around here. So I also bought that. Since I haven't had a working drill, I've really missed it because there's times I've needed a drill and I haven't had one. Even to put the skirting on the outside of the camper there, like to put the tarps up. There's times that I need a drill to drill holes for the screws to screw the tarps in and stuff, because especially on this side of the camper, because I had my shed that I had built there out of logs and chicken wire and stuff, and so I never covered that because it was covered with the shed. So anyway, but it's gone now. I tore it apart and it's gone because I figured I was leaving here last spring, and I ended up having to stay another winter anyway. So it's gone. And so that's wide open now, so I have to put a tarp there, but I don't have any holes drilled to put the tarp, to screw the tarp to the wall. So that's the thing about that. So I bought that set. It says that it works. Generally, if they actually say that it works, if they're committing themselves to that, it's because they've tested it and it works. I paid $40 for the set. Got into a bit of a bidding war with a guy. But what I find is, what I do is I don't bid until the closing starts with these live auctions, because I figure if you're bidding days in advance of the closing, all you're doing is driving the price up, really. So I bid when the closing starts, when the live closing starts. And what I do then is I run out the clock, because every time you bid, it adds 2 minutes and so many seconds to the clock. But what I do is I run out the clock and I bid when there's maybe 20 seconds left on the clock or 15 seconds left on the clock. I bid. That's when I place my bid. And then sometimes if I have competition, I catch them unaware by doing that. And by the time the 2 minutes and so many seconds that's added to the clock is up, they still haven't clued into the fact that somebody has bid against them. So that's the way I do it anyway. It's a strategic kind of a bidding tactic that I use, and it works really well. Although I will say, last night I did have a guy, I was bidding on something. It was another tool that I thought would help me with my work, and I can't remember what it was now. Oh, a chainsaw. I'm bidding on a chainsaw. And anyway, the guy I was bidding against, and again, it said that it worked. It was a Johnson Red chainsaw, and it said that it would tested and it worked. But I was bidding on that, and the guy that I was bidding against, I got into a bit of a bidding war with another guy. I was only prepared to go up so far with it, though. Like, I decide ahead of time how far I'll go with each item, and I won't go past that. And anyway, though, so I don't really get into bidding wars so much because I don't allow myself to get emotional about it. And so some people get very emotional, and it's like, that SOB is not going to take that away from me, and I'm going to, I'm going to beat him out of that, even if I have to overpay for it. I won't do that anyway. What I do is I say right ahead, before I even place a bid, I already know how much I'm prepared to pay, and that's how much I'm prepared to pay. And if it hits that, I just let the other guy have it. If he wants it more than I do, it's worth more to him than it is to me then. So he can have it, and there'll be another saw or another this or another that anyway. If I don't buy this one, I'll buy another one, that's all. And that's what I do. But anyway, that guy, he figured out what I was doing because he started to do it, you know. And I remember thinking, oh, he's figured it out. He knows what I'm doing. Because he put in a bid. I bid against him at 20 seconds left on the clock. And then he let it run down. And he actually let it run down until there was about, well, his bid came in, it registered when there was only 5 seconds left on the clock. So yeah, it means he probably bid at 10 seconds. Because there's a bit of a delay, and it takes some time. When he hit that thing, you have to then confirm that you've bid that. So you have to hit another thing to say that it confirms that you are bidding, just to prevent you from accidentally bidding on something. And so you can't turn around and say, well, I didn't mean to bid on that. My finger slipped or whatever, and I bid on it, but I didn't mean to, because you actually have to confirm the bid. So there's a little bit of time there. So I figure probably with about 10 seconds on the clock, he placed his bid. And I bid against him, though. I applied my same strategy and I bid against him, and then he bid against me again. And at that point, it had reached my maximum that I was prepared to pay when he placed that bid. So I just let it go. I said, all right, you want it, you can have it. That's how I'll get the next one. But that's how you do it anyway. If you don't want to, if you don't want to pay $300 for a $50 item, that's what you do. But I seen it when I worked for the auctioneer. I remember I saw people do that. I saw people during the live auctions get mad and bid. And sometimes if somebody won something during the live auction, there'd be disputes. Like you would get somebody after the auction, they'd be confronting this person and say that whoever was bidding against them and didn't get it, they'd be confronting that person. And who the hell do you think you are to be bidding against me on that? And what do you think you're trying to do? And all that, that's what you get. And I saw that happen where I never saw anybody come to blows, but I saw it come very close to that a few times because people get emotional. And I had one guy, I was standing there talking to the guy after the auction, and he was all proud of himself because he had overpaid for something. He had paid like $150 for an item you could buy in any thrift store for $10. And he did it because he got into a bidding war with another guy, and he wasn't, just as a matter of principle, he wasn't going to let that other guy take that away from him. And even though I shouldn't have done it, because it's good for the auctioneer if people do that. The auctioneer wants people to do that, and I was working for the auctioneer. But when the guy was telling me this and how proud he was of himself, I just looked at him and I said, you realize you could have bought that same thing at the Salvation Army for $10, don't you? Like, I said, what you did is, I said, you were so gung-ho, to beat the other guy that you were willing to take a screwing just to win. And I said, that doesn't really seem like much of a victory to me. But anyway, to each his own, I said, whatever works for you. In the end, as long as you pay your bill, we don't care. But really, like I'm just being honest with you. It's not, you're when you take a screwing in order to beat somebody else out of taking a screwing, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. You know, like I would have got in trouble if my boss had known I'd said that. Luckily, I don't think he found out because I never heard anything about it anyway. But yeah, we had we used to see that quite a bit anyway, and it's a huge mistake. Don't get emotionally attached to stuff. You know, really, if you get emotionally attached to stuff, see, your stuff should serve you. Whatever you own, it should serve you in some way. If you become emotionally attached to your stuff, though, then you become a slave to your stuff. Your stuff is supposed to be a slave to you, because the things you own are supposed to make your life easier, you know. But like I say, you can become a slave to stuff. And you can become a slave to this I've got to win at any cost mentality too, where, well, there was one time there was an ugly old 1970s type living room lamp up for auction. And again, it's something you could buy in a thrift store for $10. And a couple of guys got into a bidding war over that lamp, and it sold for like $250. Unbelievable. You know, just it was a pissing contest, is what it was. It was stupid, you know. And I mean, I got to tell you, I never respected that. I never looked at the guy that overpaid for something like he was some sort of a hero. I just thought, you dumb, you dumb F, you know, what's wrong with you? That's all. Like, look, I mean, it, I'll take you shopping. You know? We'll go to thrift stores. I'll show you what you can get. Or we go to flea markets and garage sales and stuff. You know, I'll show you what you can get for that kind of money. Like you could have bought literally 25 of those lamps for what that one lamp cost you. But you had to get into a pissing contest with another idiot. That's all. And that's the thing. I mean, and that's how I looked at it. You know, I didn't look until, well, good for you. You know, you won the right to be cheated, basically. Although really, it isn't really being cheated because he agreed to pay $250. What he paid $250 for really was that feeling of having won some sort of a battle. You know, having outdone the other guy, having beat the other guy out of something. And it's like all you did was you beat the other guy out of paying $250 for a piece of junk that he could have got for a fraction of that anywhere else. So you didn't actually win, you know. And like I say, there was a couple items that I didn't get, like the chainsaw. That was one of them. But you know what? I'll get a chainsaw. I won't get that chainsaw, but I will get a chainsaw, and I won't overpay for it. I'll pay what I'm comfortable paying for it, and it'll work just the same as the one that I was bidding on last night. And you know, it's not a big deal. I mean, I don't need a chainsaw today, you know. I mean, I'm getting by just fine without one. It's just that it'd be nice to have one because it would help me sometimes in my work. But like I say, I will get one. I just won't get into a pissing contest with another man over it, that's all. And end up paying more than I should for it. Anyway, that's it. The 76 Buick Century they had advertised, I wasn't going to buy it, but I was interested just to see what it would end up going for. And it ended up going for $1,575. That's Canadian funds because I'm in Canada. So that's probably about $700 US or something. But anyway, our money's worthless. So, you know, probably. But anyway, like I say, up here, those old cars are rare now because the rust gets to them because of the salt we put on the roads to melt the ice in the wintertime. And most of them just rusted away to nothing years ago. And the other thing is, our government is very much against old cars. The federal government and the provincial government here in Canada are both very much against old cars. And so they do everything they can to make it hard to keep an old car. They don't actually criminalize having an old car, but they make it next to impossible to keep one because they criminalize things connected with having an old car, and they make it harder. They make it hard to get insurance, and they make it hard to get it on the road, and they make it that they don't want you driving it. The police will harass you if they see you driving an old car around all the time. You know, they're okay with you driving an old car to a car show or show and shine or something. But if they find that you're driving an old car as your daily driver or anything like that, they'll start harassing you. And they'll find reasons to charge you, and if they can't find a legitimate reason to charge you, they'll lie and say they did. So, you know, whatever you paid for the car, you're going to pay that much more. You're going to pay that much and more in fines and fees and taxes and appraisals and extra insurance cost unless you have it insured as a classic, as an antique, in which case your insurance will be restricted and you won't be allowed to drive it except to go to a show and shine or to take it to a mechanic to be worked on or some other such thing as that. Anyway, that's what they do in Canada. They don't actually criminalize a thing, but they just make it generally, but they make it very hard to continue to do it if they don't want you doing it. They just tax it and put enough red tape around it, and they get the police to harass people who are doing it, and that generally causes people to decide it isn't worthwhile to keep doing this, and they stop on their own without having to be threatened with criminal sanctions. Basically, that's how they do it here. So most of our old cars that we had years ago have not survived. They've just come off the road by attrition and because of rust and other things, and because of people just get fed up dealing with all the crap connected with having one, really. So, all the negativity that'll come your way because you have one. Anyway, that's it. It went for $1,575. Of course, there's a 13% buyer's premium that's attached to that, plus there's 13% sales tax as well. Plus, they'll have to get it safetied. It's hard now to find a mechanic that'll work on an old car like that. Most of them, they don't want to work on anything that doesn't have an onboard computer that you can plug a machine into and it'll give you a code. Most of them don't know how to diagnose a vehicle that doesn't have that. So if there's an issue, they don't know how to diagnose it. So they don't want to be bothered with that old stuff, and it's very difficult to find anybody to work on it. But still, if they manage to get it on the road and they don't mind spending a little money to do what they need to do it legally, it'll be a fun car for somebody to drive, I'm sure. I still don't understand why it was sold weeks ago off the same property and now it's back again. That came back up again last night. I figured they mustn't have been able to get a clear title to it or something. It was being sold as is, so the only thing I think it could be is that the people, whoever won it, never came to collect it, or they came to collect it, but then they couldn't get a clear title to it. That'd be the other possibility. And that will happen if there's a mechanic's lien against it, or if there's money owing against it because it was used as collateral for a loan or something, which I don't think would be the case with that car, but that'd be the other reason. Or also, if you have unpaid fines and parking fines or highway traffic act fines, and or tolls, if you have unpaid fees like toll fees and stuff, then they won't. Then you can't. That all has to be settled before you can transfer the ownership. So it could be that that car had some unpaid fines attached to it, which actually makes sense because, as I've said, it's not a restored classic. It's not something that somebody would just be driving the show and shines. This is a car you can tell was being used as a daily driver, and the police would harass anybody who was doing that. So chances are they had a pocket full of tickets, and maybe they never paid them, and that would explain it too. But I don't know. It's all speculation. It's all educated guesses, because I know how our system here works, and I know how old cars are handled here. But I don't know with absolute certainty why that happened, why it was sold, and then it was sold a second time last night off the same property. I can't tell you that. What they're doing is they're liquidating this big farm in stages. So they've already had 2 auctions prior to last night's auction. Last night's auction was the third auction from that same property. Anyway, that's it. We'll see you later.